panel discussion that was planned earlier. We're going to have it now. I'm going to quickly invite all the panelists on the stage. Vasilisa Marinchuk. I hope that I've pronounced the name correctly. Director of International Relations Center, Blockchain of Catalonia. So, Vasilisa has diverse work experience with a focus on operational excellence and process optimization. She's serving as the Managing Director for Democracy for All, Blockchain for Governance. She's the member of the Board of Advisors InvoiceMate and also co-founder of Chain Global Barcelona chapter. Oh, thank you, Jimmy. You saved me a few seconds. Thank you. Okay, so everybody knows Jimmy by now. He's the guy who gave the awesome presentation and the upbeat presentation that I think woke a lot of people up. So you all know Jimmy by now. Right, our next speaker, the next panelist is Neil Ford. Mr. Ford, if you could join us, please. Director of Growth, Big Dog Mining, USA. He is in the blockchain mining industry. He has experience in launching new data center sites using sustainable energy sources. He also has experience in other areas of the digital asset and blockchain industry. Right, the next panelist, somebody that we heard yesterday as well, Syed Mohammed Alhebsi, advisor in AI, Ministry of Human Resources and Emiratisation, UAE. He's the co-founder of Startup Lex, co-founder in Casa Mobili, and owner of VETC International, all in the UAE. The next panelist is Mohammed Salman Anjum, founder and CEO, InvoiceMate UAE. So he's a Pakistani living and working in the UAE. He is co-creating the future of invoice processing with blockchain-enabled trusted processes and enhanced efficiency. So Salman, I will be getting in touch with you as well. I have a terrible time processing invoices on a monthly basis. All right. And then, of course, the moderator, our very favorite Jimmy. So it's over to you now, Jimmy.
Thank you. And I really want to leave this panel discussion, hopefully with some practical tips for you all, because I don't want you to leave this great two-day event hearing a lot of ideas about disruption and technology without learning some things about what you can actually do when you go back to your offices and your businesses or government agencies or for the entrepreneurs here and watching. To help me talk about this is this panel. And when we talk about disruptive technologies, as you just heard, it's technology that really dramatically changes an entire industry, ourselves as people, how we interact in daily life, or even how governments and laws deal with things. So instead of being afraid of disruptive technology, I'll tell you what I told my entertainment clients as a lawyer in the 1990s when the internet emerged. You need to embrace and adopt it. Do you want to be Blockbuster Video that doesn't embrace the internet world and go out of business? Or do you want to be Netflix, which has become one of the dominant powerhouses in Hollywood today? So Mohammed Salman, one of the two main reasons I spend a lot of time in Pakistan, including as far as my good friend Mohammed Salman, who we've worked with on many things. Tell us about your InvoiceMate product, which you've heard some about over the last 2 days, and how it's trying to disrupt and improve financial inclusion.
Assalamu alaikum, Karachi. Thank you very much for having us again, and it's always a pleasure coming back and sharing the insights of disruptive technologies. First, I would like to start with the disruptive. It is like sometimes it has been known as not a very positive word, but in fact in the recent times, in technology terms especially, disruption is considered as a very positive term. And especially when it comes to changing some kind of a normalcy which has been happening in any kind of operation. Yes, coming to how InvoiceMate is disruption, creating the disruption, it really indeed, I am not using this word as a cliche, it is indeed bringing the disruption, invoicing throughout the world. Rabia just mentioned her problem. It's not just here in Pakistan, it's been a problem with the small, medium, large size, private sector, public sector, all sides have the problems with the invoice processing. And one of the biggest challenges, lack of invoice financing. Accounts receivable, which is invoice by the way, is always considered as asset in the accounting books, but banks don't trust the invoices. Banks don't trust the accounts receivable coming from the centralized systems. Blockchain now previous panel was all talking about the utility of blockchain. Now here comes the utility of the blockchain, not for the sake of name of blockchain or trend of blockchain. Actually, what blockchain can bring to the invoicing ecosystem, bring the trust that banks need to put their faith on the integrity of the invoice cycle, invoice as a document, it's supporting document. Now, how it helps the SMEs? Again, they don't have much of the collateral to offer for the financing needs. Here comes their partner, here comes their mate, which already they have, the invoices, they play with it every day. This is the backbone of their accounting system. Imagine that backbone is really becoming a backbone of their financial system, enabling them for the cash flow, enabling them for sustainable business. That's what the real disruption is. That's what the real experience of our utility of emerging technologies of blockchain and AI and metaverse is. That's what we together are bringing in. I've been in the space for 6-7 years now, had a privilege to work with Jimmy on a number of projects, number of occasions, but again, I believe this is going to be a good legacy I can leave behind. Bringing the financial inclusion in true words through emerging technologies are the disruptive technologies.
So to hone in on why this is useful, especially for the enterprises in the room, problem, small businesses need more money to buy, let's say, products, services, pay their employees. They don't have it. They cannot get a loan from banks easily. But since they have money coming in from invoices, they could actually get a loan or financing on that. The banks have a hard time trusting whether the invoices are appropriate, accurate, or not. And that process of due diligence can take a long time. And in some industries, for example, the garment industry, this is very important. But his blockchain product helps track the transparency of an invoice's journey much faster, easier, makes banks more comfortable to give loans on those invoices to SMEs who need the money. And you're partnering with what banks here in Pakistan already?
Yeah, already we have 3 partners on board, 4th is on the way, and we look forward for others. The Zindagi, of course, is our first one as a JS Bank, powered by JS Bank. Mobilink Microfinance Bank from the Jazz family is already, we are very close to launch with them rather, not just signed, we are close to launch with them next month. And Telenor Microfinance Bank, which also is becoming now one of the 5 digital banks in Pakistan, and in discussions with the Faisal Bank, very close. And on Friday, we'll be going to Habib Bank, Mizan Bank, and National Bank. So it's happening now. And just realized in a previous panel, we also have a potential partner, FinTech Galaxy, Michael Hartman.
Yes.
I just realized when he was giving his...
Michael's in the room. Go grab him.
Yeah. So yeah, we had a little chat.
Make some business happening. Okay, so a big round of applause for all those achievements quickly. So the lesson, tip on that, especially for the bigger companies in the room or watching, often big enterprises and their CTOs and CFOs are afraid to branch out to new disruptive technology. One easy step to do that is to partner with a startup that actually knows the space, that is willing to take the risk of understanding the technology and the product so that it is a safer entry point for bigger enterprises. It's something I saw in the Silicon Valley days of California in the 1990s and 2000s. The big companies wouldn't build it themselves. They'll say, hey, we'll let some startup try it and we'll partner with them to do a test pilot within our company. I think it's a good entry point. All right, let's jump to Vasilisa. Vasilisa helps lead international relations at the Blockchain Center of Catalonia in Spain, but she's got a number of other projects she's interested in the metaverse world. Tell us about one of them.
Hello. Hello, everybody. Well, Jimmy, today I want to be a little bit more philosophical, especially taking into account the topic, the future, the disruption. So, I mean, around this room, we have these 2 words going together, future and disruption. Why? Did we ask ourselves ever, like, why do we need to disrupt things? Right. Why is this important? My answer is to sustain the future. What is the future? The future is in the hands of our children. And so is our legacy. And what do we do with this today is a great question. We have to guide them. We have to guide them properly. And lots of speakers before me were talking about children, the importance, how we can help them, the heritage. which we're given to them, which we are passing by. Here in Pakistan, in Russia, where I'm coming from, in Europe, in Middle East, all over the place. The project which I'm currently pulling up is a foundation named Anima Heritage Foundation, which mission is to save the human heritage for the kids in the metaverse environment in the hyper-realistic way. Why is this? I will give you one example from the history of the humanity. One of my favorites. My favorite city in the world, unfortunately not in Pakistan, it's in Italy, it's Florence. Florence is an amazing city if you've ever been there. It's a true cultural heritage of the humanity. When in the Second World War, Hitler was leaving the place, basically moved by the troops of the other armies, he said to basically bomb all the bridges so that they can step away, except one, Ponte Vecchio. The Ponte Vecchio bridge is one of the oldest bridges. It's a golden bridge, right? There are lots of mini shops there, super beautiful. And he forbade to his army to bomb it. Why? Because he appreciated the beauty of this bridge and how important it is. And he said that it would be even a worse crime. And he was a horrible person. I'm not going to justify him anything, but feel the power of the culture appreciation, of the heritage appreciation. I trust this is something we have to pass to our children. We live in one planet. We share one common world, and we have one common heritage. Heritage of my country is not mine, it's yours. Heritage of your country is not yours, it's mine. And I have to appreciate it, and I have to respect it. And only then we can value it. This is what we can pass to our children. So with this saying, the foundation which we are working on right now, and I invite all of you to join us as sponsors, as steering committee members, as heritage committee members. All of this we can do with our children. We can create the spaces, preserving buildings, preserving songs, cooking, and anything you think and consider part of your culture, part of your heritage, where they can experience it in controlled environment with their teachers without interruption from the outskirts, right? And we can deliver them this in the most realistic manner with the glasses provided and everything to the schools. This is what we want to do, and I think we can do it only together. We cannot do it alone. We have best experts, best technologies already there. We just need you to help us to take it further.
So basically Derek Hugenkamp's point, which is, for the metaverse, kids need it to be interested in things they may not otherwise be interested in. How do you answer the potential criticism that some people would say, which is you're dealing with, culture, religion, historic places like the Ponte Vecchio and Firenze? Doesn't it cheapen it by making it digitized in a virtual world?
I don't think so. Think about this. In 2022, we had 2 billion kids in the world from the age from 0, like infancy, till 14 years old. 2 billion people who will form and shape the world in the future. Generally, in 2019, before COVID, all around the world, only 1 out of 6 people ever traveled outside of his country. How can you appreciate, how can you understand something when you never saw it? But you have economical reasons, health issues, any other reasons why you cannot do this. But the way you can do it now is the metaverse. Again, metaverse is not something to replace the real world. It's to extend it, to make it more accessible for those who cannot travel for so many reasons. So I don't see any criticism in this. I see it's more entertaining, and I see it's more educational, the only way.
And so the tip I would draw from this is to understand that what some people think is disruptive, we're thinking about it from our adult lens, right? I'm now 50, and the things I think are cool now are very different than when I was younger. And so a lot of this technology is you have to get out of the mindset of your adult head and think, what is the young generation going to want, or would they use it? So what we think is disruptive is just a different human behavior that will be trained with new technology, just like we use smartphones differently than we did when cell phones first came out that were StarTacs. So I think that's an important thing to really think about as you're discussing things within your organizations. Let's move to Neil, who works in the industry of Bitcoin and blockchain mining data center processing, which has gone a dramatic evolution over the last couple of years. Neil, tell us about your experience in the mining industry so far. And then we'll ask some questions about how it might grow in this region.
Sure. So I recently have gotten into Bitcoin mining and using renewable resources. I'm going to kind of go with Jimmy's philosophy here and tell a little story. As a kid, I had always hated my little town, and so I left and I wanted to go to the big city and I wanted to try and make a name for myself. And I did. I went out and I went to university and I studied, and then I came back and I realized that my little town needed help. And these smaller regions that are outside, have, lack of income coming in, lack of jobs, and everyone wants to leave and they want to go out, but people still like the small towns. And so we found that there are renewable resources out in these regions where we can come back and build data centers. We can help those people who don't have the financial availability to run away from the cities. We can bring back jobs into these small areas using renewable resources. So providing these data centers, here in Pakistan, everyone is very intelligent. They know how to run computers, smartphones, and other things like that. These data centers can be run by, people in these small towns and give them the prosperity and availability to keep continually living in these small areas.
Where are you from, by the way, since people may not know the geography of very rural farm town USA?
So Pennsylvania, it's the state right below New York. We're very rich in natural gas. And I did notice that there are lots of regions here in Pakistan that have shale gas that's available to them as well. If you're unable to pipe that gas into the production lines, what you can do is you can put a data center on there, and you can also use generators to convert that gas right into power right there. So you don't have to worry about your renewable resources being stuck. You can tap those resources down where they're at and use those. Here we worry about the power grid and things being unable to produce enough power for the grid here. Bitcoin mining and cryptocurrency mining, there's also this thing called curtailment, where what you do is whenever you experience a crisis, you will call the big mining operations and say, hey, stop producing power, stop running your operations, and then what we'll do is then we can push the power back into the grid. You can do that with solar power. You can also do that with wind turbines. That's one of the largest generations of renewable resources that people are starting to look to, which would be a great opportunity here.
All right. So while there is a lot of concern and criticism about the environmental sustainability of Bitcoin blockchain data mining, what we're seeing across the world is a trend in finding ways to use untapped, otherwise unused sources of renewable energy, such as natural gas, hydro, solar power, to power data centers that can actually sustain jobs and economy in rural areas. Final question to Neil right now. How many people live in your hometown in Pennsylvania?
About 752.
752. So you've made it now to Karachi. Let's go to Saeed. Saeed, we heard from yesterday in his capacity as an advisor to one of the leading ministries in the UAE, and we've also had the privilege to do a number of things together. I want to focus today on having you talk to our audience about your role as an entrepreneur and investor in technology businesses. Tell us what kinds of disruptive technologies you're interested in, and if you mind telling us that are already in your investment or business portfolio, and what kinds of disruptive technologies do you think will be most promising for people in Pakistan and the companies here to adopt?
Thank you, Jimmy, and good morning, everyone. Starting as my role as a government, that journey with the government give me a lot of experience to see a lot of opportunity in the market, especially in the disruptive technologies. what we had studies in artificial intelligence or blockchain technology, and what we have seen in the reality when we visit, for example, Facebook or Google, or we are also exploring more opportunity to bring it to our country as a solution for the government. That way give me a chance to open a new market for us as an entrepreneur, to see a new opportunity to invest on it. I remember the first time I invested as a disruption technologies as a company was a machine learning company that provide a solution in the healthcare, was in 2015. That was my first investment in the disruption technologies in the healthcare. That was giving me a lot of experience, how it is this as a new technology doing in the healthcare, how can help the people in the healthcare, as even our colleague Derek mentioned earlier, it is using the machine learning for good. Here's like a small story with this investment, what I did it in the first time in 2015. We bring these technologies especially for the people who are suffering in diabetes. So the people who have the diabetics, like after like 5 or 10 years, their retina in the eye affected. So by the time they losing the chance to see also. So we use the machine learning to early detect of the affected of the retina. So we brought the technologies to the Dubai, the DHA, Dubai Health Authority. We showed them the value of the project. They said we need to proof of the concept. We did the proof of the concept by showing the result. We have a lot of resiliency from the hospital itself because you are taking part of their job. But when we came to have a dialogue with the doctors, that is not taking your job. It is enhancing and make more efficiency in your job. They accepted. But what surprised me actually, when we use the technologies for good, after we prove our concept and prove our value, and they like the project, they said, Saeed, we will like to have a partnership with you. We will take the technology what we have it, but we will not implement it here in Dubai only. We have a program called Noor Dubai. Noor Dubai is the program initiated by the Dubai government to help the African people who have suffering from the eye, who losing their eye, and they are providing them the cure to regain to see again. So they said, rather than to put a lot of investment to cure them, let's detect it in the earliest state. At least we save the time and save also the money in that area. There where I see the potential where this technology can be participate in for the good, not only as an investment. So we always follow our leadership strategy. Where is the good? Where is the new market? Where is the business? We'll start to invest. Later, we have the blockchain technologies as a disruptive technologies. We have looking as InvoiceMate as one of the opportunity to invest on it and to bring it to other countries to show the value, to show the concept, how the blockchain can create a new market and how create to the banks itself a new stream of their business.
So you are, one of the principals now of InvoiceMate and are supporting it with your time, relationships, and most importantly, your money as an investor. A lot of people in this room, whether they're entrepreneurs or the bigger businesses in the room, want to get partnerships or investment from foreign leaders, especially people from the UAE. Tell them what would best attract your attention.
Actually, the best exercise here, what we always doing in UAE, to look to the best practice as a country. So we have a lot of initiative as a government, like the instant license. What we have, any people who has in all over the world, who have new technologies or have a new solution, or they have the innovative idea, they want to explore it and open a component. We have the license that support them called instant. Within 1 hour, no need for office. It is very costly. Like this initiative, we want to repeat it for the other countries, like Pakistan. Today, I want to explore more market in the Pakistan. I want to open more opportunity here in Pakistan to see more solution from the Pakistan. I want the easy way to enter the market easy way to meet the people, easy way to, I see an incubators. Where is exactly can I fit with the people and build a partnership with them, either to take the solution from them, either I invest in their solution also.
Give you a round of applause for that. Mohammed, why don't you tell us how you met Saeed and how this business relationship emerged, because I think that's what people really want to understand.
Yeah, this is one thing which people need to realize, that in Arab countries, it's you work with people, not with the projects, and that's what I learned. I was born there, been there for quite some time now, and also for an entrepreneur as well, it's important you work with people, not with investors. So that's the good match between us. We are friends first, know each other for last 3 years, backed each other for different initiatives for 3 years, didn't do any commercial activity for 3 years, and finally it all gets clicked. This is again my message to the upcoming entrepreneurs, especially from the startups. If they were like always going for money, then okay, it's a very short-term approach. If you want to go for a sustainable relationship which will last generations, then okay, go for a relationship first. We traveled almost, I think, every continent, many countries together. Never realized that one day it will become a common journey. So that's how you need to build up relationship without any intention that, okay, tomorrow it will get converted into the commercial experience. No, if it is in your lines, it will come. And we have some common friends, we tried to do some commercial things together, but it didn't work because not in lines till now, maybe tomorrow, yes. So that's my message to all the entrepreneurs who want to work with the Gulf countries. Don't reach out to them for their money. Reach out to them for value. Value them, they will value you, and at the same time, bring something which will value to the whole world. So just don't eye them for their money. They have huge elements to bring to the world. Just see where are the good fits. So unfortunately, that's why I'm good that you asked this question. I have seen a lot of not just from Pakistan, from other parts of the world, been there for 12 years now. People just eye Arabs, oh, they are cash rich, deep pockets, let's go and get their money. No, please. Change the perspective. They have a lot more to offer. And this is what I'm experiencing. Been blessed having him as our first principal, and inshallah there will be a lot more together. We will be having a long journey. And also I would like to also acknowledge the other partnerships with you, Jimmy, Vazi. There are others as well in the room. Been blessed. So work with people, don't work for the projects and products.
Great advice, great advice. And that's a tip I want to reinforce, because there's an irony to that when we're talking about the technology world, where everything happens really fast and people are in these races. They want to do things fast. Tech companies are built really fast. The real irony is that real business, especially done at the highest levels, is done by taking the time to develop trust and relationships. So really invest that time. And I know it's hard, especially for the entrepreneurs, to hear that, because they just, I've been asked a bunch of times already to help people, and we want to help people, but there's only so many resources and hours in the day. So building that trusted relationship is important. The thing I'll also point out, which Asfar has been great at assembling here, you saw these foreign speakers here from outside of Pakistan. Well, half of us not only know each other, but are friends. I've traveled with half of this crew around the world to many different things, often without any direct business relationship, but we think about it. But we think about it because we have formed some years of relationships, of friendship and trust. So there's an interesting circle there. Okay, Vasilisa, you have worked in various capacities, including with companies and organizations in tech across the world. What advice could you give this audience about how they can attract foreign investment or foreign business partnerships in disruptive technology?
Again, we met, for example, with Mohammed Salman, I know, like 5 years ago, like 5 years ago, more or less. And I think the first thing is be open, that's for sure. You should also go out of your own, not comfort zone, your country sometimes. It's very important that you're not seeking for people to come to your house. You first go and visit them, and then you invite them here. I mean, in my personal case, it's my second time in Pakistan. My first time was May last year in Islamabad, which was a lot eye-opening. And I will be very honest, before...
And it was very hot then.
It was very hot then, yeah. It was a
hot.
heat wave in May, and it was challenging, but it was still very, very interesting experience and amazing people. But again, what I was saying, honestly, I would never before consider coming here. So each of you in this room, you're ambassadors of your country, as I am ambassador of mine. So every time you go out and you speak to people, they will learn from you about your country, about the opportunities which your country provides economically, politically, anything else, with your help. And if they're going to enter as investors, as employers, anything, they will go with you, hand in hand, because they need somebody to guide them in place. It's like, in my case, of course, it's always going to be Mohammed, because without him, I'm lost, right? Now I met more of you. And of course, I hope that you will guide me as well, and we will become friends, we will become partners. But this all comes with the first contact. So sometimes it's like, if the mountain doesn't come to you, right, go to the mountain, and vice versa, and bring it back.
So Neil, let's turn to Neil. So Neil, a lot of people in some countries question, right, the validity of Bitcoin and blockchain mining and just trading in general. And some governments have been sort of gray or are silent about whether it's permitted in a particular country or not. I know with what you've dealt with, which is building out data center sites, you've had to deal with your companies, with governments and regulators, as well as investors, all these service providers. Would you give some advice to the people in the room about what you need as a data center operator, right, and business generator from all of these different parties, whether it's the government, utilities, the service partners, investors, to make a site like this successful no matter where it's located, and particularly here?
Yeah, absolutely. So as you take a look at, you know, building out these data centers, the first thing you want to do is you want to figure out where your power is going to come from and how you're going to power this operation. Whether you're going to use solar or whether you're going to use wind power, you're going to need to figure out how much these turbines are going to cost you. Or if you're going to use grid power, you're going to need to negotiate with the power contract for the terms of these. And then from there, you're going to start building out the site facilities. Do you want to have containers that you can order to be shipped in? How quickly do you want these data centers to be built out? Or do you want to build your own facility and have everything done right there in-house? So before you go to investors, you kind of want to take a look and see what your options are going to be, whether you're going to have it done off-grid or whether you're going to have it done on-grid. Because when you go to investors, they're going to want to know basically how much does it cost, how long is it going to take for your return on investment, and other things like that, because it is actually pretty costly to build these data centers out. To build about a 3 megawatt facility, which holds about 900 computing machines in the US, we're averaging about a $5 million cost. So you have to worry about overhead, and everything else like that. Here you're very lucky where you can house many people who are, you know, very smart and can quickly mobilize things like getting everything done from A to Z, from completion of building out the site to procuring those items.
Okay. And let's talk a bit about how these data centers can be useful for many things. Right? When you're creating a data center, obviously it can be very profitable for Bitcoin mining because there's an immediate, you know, trading of a digital asset. But as people build these data centers, are you seeing clients and businesses considering use of them for more things in the data space?
Yeah, absolutely. People are still looking for, you know, other opportunities to build with them because they're all energy intensive. And, you know, you look at the digital assets, you know, price like, you know, Derek had mentioned, they go up one day, they're 1,000% up, and next thing you know, they're at zero. So you want to take these data centers and you don't want to have just a single, you know, an asset that you put into. So I would suggest that you have multiple assets which you are, you know, mining for there. And there's also things that you can do with them. You can have have AI opportunities in there. You know, all of these computers are very specialized, so they're just running, you know, normally day to day. You can also put machine learning in there. So you don't have to just have specifically a data center for cryptocurrencies. You can use them for a wide range of things.
Yeah, and I think that's the thing I wanted to underline, which is while a disruptive technology such as, you know, Bitcoin, digital currency, may trigger this growth of mining data centers, people are looking to use them for what you would consider more, you know, enterprise level data applications. In fact, Saeed, we're seeing data centers being built in the UAE, right, for Bitcoin and blockchain mining, but also for AI, machine learning usage. Is that right?
Yes, actually there is three areas they are focusing on it in UAE, in Abu Dhabi one, and in Dubai and Ras Al Khaimah to building the mining data center. That's acknowledging from the needs of the implement these technologies to one of them, as Neil's, creating more jobs for it.
More jobs, yeah.
Yeah, and they make useful of the even the energy. Like in Ras Al Khaimah, 80% from there, what they are planning to have the mining data center, the 80% is covered by solar energy, which is helping even the energy to not only as a technology, as a mining technology, even as energy. Even in Abu Dhabi, they are using the water one. I don't know exactly how they're using their technology, but there is technology brought by Chinese people. They are using the energy by water, by the sea. They are dragging the cooling system and that from the deep of the sea.
Yeah, they probably use the water for cooling.
Yeah, so indeed, again, always how the government looking to this opportunity, it's only to market creation. When they create the market, they looking for themselves as one step ahead to be international leadership.
Sure.
Third, to learn from this experience in the market. Right. When they learn from this experience, they replicate it in their government system. Yeah. Exactly what happened in the earlier where they start to implement the e-government.
Yes. Yeah. So another interesting point to reinforce there, when Bitcoin mining started, it was always in very cold places because you had to keep the rigs cool, and therefore it cost too much to put them in hot places because the electricity had to be used for air conditioning. So you saw a lot in Russia. I've been to mining summits in Siberia or places like that. But now, you never would have thought years ago the UAE in the middle of the desert would be a site for this, but it's becoming that. Because of a variety of factors, including the government interest in trying to become one of the most technologically advanced countries in the world, and that required them to not do this just for making the money. It was to train a whole new population of professionals in what will be a data center infrastructure for the future. So it's something to think about even here, even if people aren't directly interested in Bitcoin mining. All right, with our remaining time, I'm going to ask each of our panelists to share a thought that they've learned from watching the last day and a half here of what advice they would give to the businesses, entrepreneurs, and government leaders of Pakistan to help prepare the country better for disruption and, most importantly, hopefully do business with any of you or the people you know around the world. Let's start with Neil.
Well, for me, I'd like to say that, you know, for mining and cryptocurrencies, there needs to be regulation with the governments. I'd like to see, you know, opportunities come out and, you know, people start speaking out more about it and how they're going to cover it. Do we want to have it listed as a currency? Do we want it to have it as a commodity? And I think that that would be a really good opportunity to allow to spur growth here in the region, because people will not, you know, use cryptocurrencies if you think I'm going to send it to someone and you can get scammed out of it. You're going to want to have consumer protections in order for, you know, mass adoption. I think that's one really important thing we can talk about.
Regulation clarity, very important for any new technology field. Vasilisa.
Well, I would just want to say that, well, thanks a lot to everybody. It was a very hospitable event and experience for me personally. I really, really enjoyed being here, talking to you. And yesterday we had amazing experience of Kuwali. And I believe that we are, as one of the famous saying is, we are as strong as we are united, and we are as weak as we are divided. So let's be united. Let's work together, hand in hand. Let's build a better future for the new generations. We can only do it together. So I really, really looking forward to work with each and every one of you.
Okay, Saeed.
Actually, I attended last month event in Lahore, and most of the audience was from the youth. And I'm attending this event. I'm seeing mixing between the youth and the business leader. What giving me an idea, there is a big willingness from the youth and from the business people who's looking for these technologies to be implemented and bring to new markets for them. As you mentioned, Jimmy, I think now we need a little support from the government in the regulation side, in the incubator side, in the acceleration program side. Any program can support both parties to be worldwide spread. That will be a big help for them.
Okay, and Mohammed.
We need more us first, because definitely this has been amazing.
I'm going to make avatars of him in the metaverse.
Yes, indeed,
Many.
Indeed we need that. Honestly, it's coming from right from the heart, because Pakistan need now exposure from outside and also at the same time from people going outside as well. So amazing effort, been blessed again, having this opportunity, bringing some speakers with me. At the same time, how he treated, that's how either organizers have to learn as well. He was not treating the international speakers as speakers. He was treating them as a guest. And now most of them are becoming the ambassadors of Pakistan. That's why I'm saying we need more as first if it comes to what Pakistan needs now.
I know, I can't wait to make my Asfartar. Waiting for it soon. All right, so let's thank our panelists. And if I could sum up, make it easy, right, to access and work with people like Saeed, whether it's through incubator, accelerator programs, things like this, reducing friction from a business, tax, structural perspective for doing investment, forming relationships that are based on trust, not asking for the business or money right away, even though, because everybody knows. Everybody knows that's what you ultimately want. It's okay, but form a good relationship for long term. Finding opportunities to use untapped resources, even in areas you don't think would merit business, that can create job opportunities as being done in Neil's hometown of rural Pennsylvania. And then finally, thinking about what you're doing will leave a legacy that would be useful for a next generation that will see what we see as disruptive as absolutely normal. Hopefully, with those thoughts in mind, we will really advance the preparation for disruption here in Pakistan. Thanks to all the panelists, and we'll be seeing you the rest of the day.
Thank you very much, all our worthy speakers. Thank you, Jimmy. Please, we still have to give you the souvenirs. Yes, thank you. So to present the souvenirs, I would request Mr. Mohammed Abdul Razik to please come on the stage. From Nutshell, I'll also request Air Chief Marshal Suhail Aman to please join us. Mr. Neil Ford. Mr. Saeed Mohammed Alhebsi. Mr. Mohammed Salman Anjum. And Jimmy, I think you've earned the second book as well. So you get a double dose of Pakistan. We also have to present a souvenir to Mr. Mohammed Abdul Razik. To present the souvenir to him, I'd request Mr. Abdul Aziz Khan to please join us on the stage. Most of you know him. He's a telecom veteran. He was formerly the CEO of 2 telecom companies. First, he was the CEO of Warid, and then he was CEO and board member of Ufone. Currently, he's CEO of E.co. So, Mr. Mohammed Abdul Razik, please receive your souvenir. And now let's have a group photo. Asfar, I'll request you to please also join the group photo.